father really suffered. Each time I remember all the sufferings he has gone through, I almost shed tears myself.
I didn't say mass during the week. I just took it like, okay, maybe he traveled or something, but he was ill. And he didn't mention anything about his own illness, and we were there talking about ours, and he would just talk along with you and, pray for you, and then you leave and you didn't know that anything was happening.
The same father started with wound on his leg that he could not move out. For about 6 months, he could not come out of his room. And the most painful aspect of it, he went for my dad's burial at Nukiofa, and that was the last ceremony he went for before he was locked up for 6 months with the wound. So after which, we started treating the wound and all that, and eventually he was able to come down and he started mass. After that, he built his house. He could not move in. And I looked at the house. I said, Father, you built this house. Move into this house. This house is ready. He said no, that he cannot go up because of his leg. So he couldn't go up until around December of the same year, before he now eventually summoned courage to open the house, and they said they are moving in. They moved in. The leg has gone a bit, not totally. Another suffering came again. He was having heart issue. So all those pains really goes deep into my heart, as if I'm the one going through the pains. After the heart issue, pile came up, and pile is not what can be said everywhere. It's in private parts. You can't tell anybody except those that are close to you that I have pile. And he was taking all sorts of leaves recommended by some people. Okay, this leaf is good, this is good, and he was taking all those ones, and eventually the pile took a longer time before he eventually left. After that, again, another pains that came to my heart. He went through a lot of pains and all that, and those pains are really touching me. He was telling himself that COVID is never his portion, and he would never want COVID to even move close to him, because he does not know if COVID should come to him, he might not survive it.
It was really after he was hospitalized that I began to hear a lot of stories about. Of course, I knew that he had a problem on the leg, but he didn't present it as a wound that never healed. He just said, it's just, and that's just because you asked him, and you just say that don't worry about the leg. You just and things like that. So someone who gave everything but took nothing. He told us that he had spent so much time here that he was doing overtime. He would say that in the homily and so on and so. When he had stepped on some toes, and don't worry, I'm doing overtime. I'll soon leave. And all that stuff. Right?
He had been telling me more than 1 month, I want to go. Everybody I thought he was going abroad to go and rest. So I want to run away. He told me many times. I said, okay, if they are bothering you in Badan, come to Ujebo. They said, no, Ujebo. They said, if I'm in Ujebo, they will just call me. Said I would not be. I said, I want to just go away so that I can have my peace, I can have my tranquility.
And, those revelations about him knowing, that it was about time, whilst not actually wishing to leave, but everything is adding up more or less. Like he just knew that he needed to do these things and set the pace.
I personally think Father Ezekiel knew something was going to happen. The day we were doing the funeral of Father Macarius, I was with him and Bishop Odetoyinbo preparing for mass. And he said, who is next? Them. And I that was supposed to be a rhetorical question. And immediately he answered, maybe I am the one. And just like Peter chastised Jesus, I turned to him and said, listen, you started your nonsense talk, this man. Fathers don't bury their children. I was referring to the elders, and we laughed about it and we left.
The very grave he told me the third person is going to be. I knew it was the third person. On the day we on the 17th or 15th of August, when we buried those two priests. I was standing by him. If you look at the video, you will see me together. And it was my first time of seeing a vote of 3 persons. And it was plain to me that even though this grave was not done very well, it was not deep enough, it should be wider than that. He said, but it's made for 3 persons. So Anthony went first, Macarius went to third. He said, he still has a place for the third person. He was the one who gave me that lecture. Neither did I know. Did he know that he was going to be the third person? While I was there that day, I said, man, I said, God. So my friend who explained this grave to me is the third person there. There's a mystery about life, and there's a lesson that we must not waste time. OWOWEYE does not waste time. He did not move near the grave. He pointed to it. In fact, he actually instructed people from my side what to do. But on that day, nobody was given instruction again because he was occupying that position. Each one of us, God has engraved into us, God has planted into us a mystery of how we came and a mystery of how we're going to pass on. It will be good for us to recognize that and follow it through.
And when he was in the hospital and he was in bed, he said, oh, yesterday when I went to visit him, he said, oh, yesterday I was saying mass I was in Ireland, I was saying mass with the SMAs. And I asked him, which of the SMAs were you saying mass with? And he was mentioning the late SMAs who worked in our archdiocese. And I said, all right, you are not in Ireland in any case. You are here in Ibadan. So forget about the SMAs. And a few days later, he said to someone, he said, leave the road. My friends are at the door. They are welcoming me. And to make matters very, very distinct for me, I gave him communion in the morning on Wednesday. I anointed him that day. And in the evening, I went back there. And when I finished in the evening, I came to his room. I was looking for a book, to prepare my lectures in the seminary. I went to his shelf. I looked at it. I didn't get any. The door of his room was locked, was closed. So I opened the door and I saw somebody move in the room. I went in there, put on the light, and I said, who is there? There was no answer. But I felt this cold I have never felt all my life. And that was the first time and the only time I was genuinely scared something was going to happen to Garrison Commander. And I just couldn't share with anyone.
And then early in the morning, around 5:30, Peter called me that the doctor called me that Father passed on is a liar.
It's more or less he died in my hand. If we had been allowed to stay there over the night, probably I would have been there when he was dying. But because we were not allowed, I saw him last. Among everybody that is close to him, I was the last person that saw him. Thursday night, before I left the hospital. Eventually, he passed on Friday morning.
So when I got the news, that's the first time in my life I cried so hard. My mom looked at me and she was like, when she saw my reaction, she knew, no, this is different, I was on the ground, I was wailing.
Yeah, to quantify my sorrow is not quantifiable. I do my crying in the rain.
Since Father died, things have been so different. Life has been so different without him. I miss him every day, every single day, especially when I didn't even get the chance to see him before he died. I miss him so much, and life has not been the same without him.
The morning they told me OWOWEYE had gone, I was crying and I was singing a song in Yoruba, and I said, àwọn méjì ó wà lọ́nà oko, àwọn méjì ó wà lọ́nà odò. Bí wọ́n ti ń lọ, wọ́n máa wí pé, kí ni ìwọ ó ṣe lọ́la? Èmi yóò gbin iṣu. Kí ni ìwọ ó ṣe lọ́la?
èmi yóò gbin ọkà. Ṣùgbọ́n lọ́gán agbọ́ gan, kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? Olùgbàlà ti mú kan kò mú èkejì. Ìjọba ọ̀run kù dẹ̀dẹ̀, aráyé ẹ yí padà. Onídàájọ́ ayé ń bọ̀ tí yóò béèrè lọ́wọ́ rẹ, tí yóò béèrè lọ́wọ́ mi. Báwo ló ṣe lò ó ìgbésí ayé rẹ? You know what that song is? Just what is narrated in the Bible. That at the end of time, when the rapture will come, that is what the song is. That two people will be going to farm, two people will be going to the river. One will be picked, the other left. And I told myself that morning, because people were calling us 5 and 6. Now 5 have been taken, 6 is left.
And they said, later I got that the burial was that day. Now, what pained me about father, the way he died. What pained me most, father's body couldn't be taken to the church. Father died, he couldn't be buried, and his body could not enter church that he worked all his life for. It's a very painful thing to me. But thank God, he was allowed to be buried at Okiare Cemetery.
For OWOEYE's end reflected the personality he was. He came quietly, he influenced people quietly, and he disappeared quietly to the greater beyond. And that is why there was no euphoria or big celebration even at his death.
My dream for Father OWOEYE was not fulfilled. I actually want Father should grow old. I want to see Father OWOEYE when I have, let me use the word that, as people used to say, when I have arrived. I want to ask Father OWOEYE, Father, what do you want? Father, I want to single-handedly build a building that you love to build yourself. If it's a church, I want to single-handedly build it. But my dream never came true.
His death really affected me. Because after my it's okay. After it's okay, ma. It's okay. Sorry. Just try. After my 60th birthday, I felt sick. I was really very sick after July 29th, after my birthday. So I couldn't come for morning mass regularly. I came sometime, and at the end of the day, I decided to leave the campus and went to my brother's house to stay with him and his wife and his family. So when I was there, Father OWOEYE called me. Prof, what happened? I've not been seeing you around. You've not been coming for daily mass. I said, Father, I have been sick, but I'm better. I'm staying with my brother. I'm trying to rest. I said, okay, take your time. Hope you'll come back on time. And that was around September. So one evening, my sister-in-law had some visitors, and my phone now rang. And I brought said, it's Father OWOEYE. And I picked the phone, Father. And I answered, Father said, are you not going to come back to the campus? I said, Father, I will soon come. That was the evening I made up my mind, and I told my sister-in-law and the husband and my brother that I have to go back to UI. Father has been calling me, and I thank God I came back. And so fortunately when I came back, I came to make a flower decoration for Sunday. So I met Father. Prof, you are back. Thank God you are better. How are you too? He said, it is this my leg. I said, God will heal you. We just spoke briefly. And that was the last time I spoke with Father. And that was the last day I saw him. That I cannot forget. That was what had made me so sad.